It can happen suddenly, and for too many of us, unexpectedly. The ending of a marriage is painful, just like the oyster's irritant. Yet from that irritant, the oyster produces a pearl. A beautiful object is created. If the oyster can create beauty from pain, so can you. So can you. Resilience. Did you know resilience is the ability to work through painful events? But how? Welcome to this 3-part series called Resilient Beauties. I'm your host, Pamela Elaine. I wanted to create a show that celebrated the lives of divorced mothers who found their own path to healing and happiness. The idea came from questions I asked myself about my personal journey. Will I ever stop crying? Will I be all right? Will I find love again? Surely, I thought, there must be mothers who found answers to these questions. I set out to find them in order to learn from their experiences, and I did. Their stories inspired my personal journey to bounce back, and I believe they will inspire yours too. In this 3-part series about resilience, you will meet 4 mothers who bounced back strong and beautiful after divorce, and you will learn just how they did it. Jill Rivera, teacher and mother of 2. Dr. Lauren Napolitano, clinical psychologist and mother of 2. Sheila Brennan, divorce coach and mother of 2 adult children. Sophie Alfonsi Caner, teacher, mother of 3 adolescents, remarried and just delivered a new baby. In addition, you will meet an adult daughter of divorce, Jennifer Lynn Robinson, who reflects on her parents' divorce. This first episode on emotional resilience is about taking care of yourself. Jill, Dr. Lauren, Sheila, and Jennifer share their insight and advice. In episode 2, you will meet attorney Crispino Pastori, who will give advice on making a bounce-back plan. And in our final episode, 3, you will meet Sophie, who will share a path to happiness and finding love again. Wikipedia defines emotional resilience as a positive self-concept and confidence in one's strengths and abilities. Resilience isn't all about toughing it out. Resilient people still feel sad, angry, or frustrated when faced with a setback. But they find ways to move forward, even if through a breakdown or tears. Tip 1. It's okay to break down and cry sometimes. Consider it a luxury.
For someone like me, when this is the first time I've ever allowed a breakdown, I kind of enjoyed it. Like, it was so hard, but I knew that I had to do it. You know, I had to accept and take that breakdown and just wallow in it some days. I think most parents are running. You're running around for your kids. You're running around to your job. You're running. And it was kind of like a luxury to come home from work and get under the covers and just cry. I'm the kind of person who doesn't have the ability to do that. I have the ability to, let me go for a run. Let me go. And I just felt like that was kind of like going to the spa, as weird as that sounds, because I never allowed myself to go there emotionally. That's something that I developed, was the ability to allow myself to be weak every once in a while. Every girlfriend wants to take you to the spa when you're going through divorce. Let's go get a pedicure. No one wants to sit there and say, let's just cry. No, because people don't think that that's what you're supposed to be doing. They're like, let's go out and get drinks. You know, very few people think that what you need is to sit there and cry. And maybe you don't need to do it with somebody else. If you have a friend who wants to do it with you, can try it. I mean, maybe it'll work. I don't know.
Tip 2. Take time to be selfish.
Dynamic where women are really told, like, you're selfish if you take care of yourself. If you put yourself first, you're a selfish mom. If you don't drive your kid to the movies at 10 o'clock on a Thursday night because that's what they wanted to do, then you're selfish. And in fact, mothers should be more selfish. They need to set more limits and calm things down and keep more structure and organization in the household, because a burned out mother is really not good for their kids. And a burned out wife is no good for her husband.
Yeah.
But women continue to kind of dial up the chaos with their kids and their families at their own expense.
Yeah. I like to call it selfish generosity.
I like that.
Selfish generosity. You give to yourself so you can give to others. Hello. Tip 3. Make your physical health needs priority number 1. Let's talk about physical resilience. Do you think mothers neglect their health and their physical appearance going through divorce?
Oh, I think they neglect their health and physical appearance well before divorce, but I think it really crescendos during divorce.
Yeah, yeah. But do you think, though, I mean, where do you think that comes from?
Well, I think just being a mother, I think you tend to feel very pulled in 12,000 directions, and I think there's this kind of martyristic quality of feeling like, well, I can take care of myself once everybody else's needs are satisfied, which, you know, as more seasoned mothers at this point, we kind of know, well, that never happens. You know, that state of equilibrium is never achieved. But I think particularly during divorce, there's just so much stress and so many people asking different questions of you. Are you going to sell your house? What are we going to do with this account? What are we going to do with this child's summer camp? And it's just so easy to feel like, well, I need to focus on the legal, the financial, the kids, and I'll get to me. I'll get there.
Tip 4. Get the help you need. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. What could mothers do differently to take care of themselves well before divorce and during that dark tunnel?
Well, my belief actually is that a lot of women suffer with sort of a low-grade depression well before they're getting divorced, and it's kind of the calm before the storm. It's sort of this, you know, sense of something being wrong or having an emptiness or a wish to kind of, well, maybe if we moved houses, well, maybe if we had another baby, well, maybe if my mother moved in and I had more help. It's all those kind of grumblings of like, this isn't working, but actually it's a low-grade depression. It's a sadness, it's a guilt, it's an anxiety, it's a fear of, oh my gosh, well, if I get divorced, what's that going to do? But I think once that kicks in, it's very important to get help, because I think it's the depression that leads to the neglecting your health and neglecting your well-being and sort of going to bed earlier, eating more poorly, and kind of just detaching.
Yeah. Tip 5. Find pleasant ways to calm yourself and reduce stress.
Something I got really into, which is great because you're single, is I just really got into working out. I walked a lot in the woods, which I recommend. I did that this summer before I left too. Just slowing down, getting out there, walking. I'm talking miles. Valley Green, Wissahickon, by myself. And I really credit that time period with giving me the strength to make the decisions that I needed to make, and afterwards too. I mean, just put my music on and go out there.
Tip 6. Overcome your fears. Try something different, really different, like travel to
Austin, Texas. I stayed in a bungalow that I found online, and it came with a bike. I knew it's kind of like the same thing. If I didn't spend that money on that, I would spend it on a gas bill. And I'm not, you know, I was like, I'm doing this for myself. And it's really not that much money. It's not going to kill me. And what am I going to do? Get something for the house? Who cares? We see that's fleeting. Who cares? It's stuff. But I wanted to do it, and I did. I asked a couple girlfriends, and they were like, well, maybe. And I'm like, you know what? I'm booking it. And I just did. Yeah. That's never something I did before. Like, oh, when I was young, I went to a movie by myself, which I'd never done before. Which is why wouldn't you? You're not really talking to anybody. But I do have a girlfriend who's always doing stuff like that. Like crazier than that. She just got back from Ecuador by herself. So and I can't really afford to take my kids somewhere that's a lot to fly 3 people. So instead of planning a huge vacation, it was like $500 and I did it. And it was so fun. And I met a ton of people and I saw great music and I ran into someone who I knew from Philadelphia. It was so fun. And everyone there was like, "What are you doing?" And they thought I was the coolest person in the world. And I'm like, I think I am too.
Tip 7. When mom is in good shape, the kids will be in good shape too.
I think the most important thing that you can do, which is against the advice of a lot of everything that you read, is to take care of yourself. And that if the mom's in good shape, the kids will be in good shape. But I totally believe in taking care of yourself. However you frame that, take care of yourself.
Tip 8. The woman you know you can be lives within.
I would encourage you all to remember, yes, you are mothers first and you will always be mothers. But those children are looking at a woman too and at a person. And if you are not happy, then that affects the way that you parent and the way that your children see you. You want your kids to see you as someone to emulate, and you're a role model, whether you like it or not. So you need to take care of your own emotional needs, your own physical needs, and be the woman who you know you can be.
A mother's emotional resilience has a profound influence on her children. How mom manages this difficult process informs her children that difficulties can strengthen rather than weaken us. Meet Jennifer Lynn Robinson. She was a mere teenager when her parents divorced. Yet, as an adult now, she has acquired the wisdom and maturity that reflection often brings. Her words inform all of us that bouncing back is available to those who dare to seize it. Do you remember at any point during their divorce that you had one recurring emotion that was difficult to dismiss or deal with?
A recurring emotion? I think the disappointment I had over time was for my mother. I'd say disappointment, I guess, overall. Just watching my mother kind of become a shell of herself and not the person that I knew growing up before they split up.
Who was she before?
Describe
her for us.
Before they split up, she was kind of, charming and outgoing and well put together and healthy and loved to entertain, just kind of loved life, And once they split up, it wasn't immediate, obviously, but just over time, her health went downhill, her physical health went downhill, her mental health went downhill. She increasingly did not put herself together in the same way. She became more isolated. She stopped talking to a lot of her friends and her family. And she became, less of a mother. I mean, there's no other easy way I can say it. I mean, as the oldest, I had sort of the best of her, and my sisters gradually had the worst of her.
Tip 9. Believe you can move on because you must. What would you have told her if you could have?
Right.
To take care of herself? What would be your words to your mom?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that in life, things happen. We're friends, so you know me. So, we've all been through things in our life, and, I've been through some bad things in my own life. But at the same time, I feel like you have to move on at some point. She was young when this happened. She was 38 years old. In my mind, she was vibrant. She had her whole life ahead of her. She was accomplished. She could have moved on. Now, whether that meant getting remarried or whether that meant just, starting over in some sense or going to work or whatever it was, I felt that she had a lot she could do, and I felt that she didn't see it.
What was something funny that your mom said? What was something most memorable?
She had a very thick French accent, and my friends were always trying to do imitations of her, and she just had this funny randomness about her. I remember one summer in college, I was living with my girlfriend, and we went out, who knows what we did, whatever. We got home late, and we pressed the voicemail on the answering machine, and my mother's there. Jenny? There's a woman on TV cooking a big pot of pasta in her big French accent, and that was it. That was the whole message. And
That's
you know,
it?
that was the whole message. And we were dying. We were just sitting there laughing. We must have replayed it 10 times. So this is still my closest friend from college. So every time I see her, she just was like, Jenny, you know, and we remember the line. I mean, but that was my mom. Like that was the random funny, the accent, you know, just I don't know. I can't explain it. That was just her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't you say your mother spoke a few different languages?
She spoke 7 languages. Yeah.
Do you know what all 7 of those are? Can you remember?
English, French, Hebrew, Russian, Italian, Spanish, and I'm missing one. Arabic. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what, didn't she have a doctorate degree?
She did. She got her PhD in French literature when she was 8 months pregnant with my youngest sister. So.
Emotional resilience is possible. Emotional resilience is no respecter of persons. If you want to get through the dark tunnel of divorce, to emerge into the beautiful life that awaits you, you can. My guests today have offered you a path to that beautiful life by way of their advice and tips. Watch this episode again and again and again. And tune in to episodes 2 and 3, where you will learn tips to answer the questions, will I be all right? And will I love again? My answer to both of these questions is yes and yes. I'm Pamela Elaine, and I hope you will join me next time. See you then.